Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the REDX podcast, the best place for real estate professionals to learn from some of the best agents and coaches in the industry. My name is Andrew, and today we've got a real estate coach, trainer, and marketing master, Ricardo Bueno. Welcome to the show, Ricardo.
What's up, guys? Great to be here. Thank you for having me again. This is awesome.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for being here again. Like you said, some of our audience may remember our last episode with you, Ricardo, when we talked about mastering Facebook lead ads, if I remember correctly.
That's
some
right.
Follow-up strategies that go along with that. So just so our audience knows, for today, we're going to kind of be doing some follow-up and some stuff that adds on to that, where we're going to be talking about how to grow and engage your database in 2021 so you can consistently take more listings. We're going to be covering some topics like how to stay top of mind with your leads and your past clients, how to grow your sphere of influence, how to properly organize your database for easy follow-up, because a well-organized database leads to just a well-organized business, easier leads, easier listings, all that. Before we get going, Ricardo, I just want to get a few items of business out of the way for our audience. As always, we like this to be a participatory event. So whether you're joining us on YouTube or Facebook or our REDX website, any questions you have for us or Ricardo, chat them in. We're going to do our best to get them answered right here live. So let's go ahead and get started. Ricardo, why don't you give everybody a little introduction to yourself, anyone who maybe didn't see your podcast, the last one you did with us, so they're familiar with you, and then we'll jump right in.
Yeah, guys, thanks again for having me. My name's Ricardo Bueno. I'm a 10-year veteran of the real estate industry. It's pretty wild to think about how fast time flies. But I've just been at this game for a while. You know, I started out as a loan officer before the subprime market collapse, and I've worked for a lot of, for what you all would probably recognize, some household names in our industry. Companies like Diverse Solutions, one of the leading IDX providers in real estate. Companies like Cloud CMA, Agent Press by Copyblogger, and now I'm in good old fashioned Orange County, Costa Mesa. I work for a company called West, and I just geek out on all things real estate, marketing, and technology. So I love doing webinars. I love training. I have a servant mentality. So if you guys have any questions, I'm here for it. So this is my happy place.
Yeah, this is our happy place too. And we are so stoked to have you here, because last time we had you on, you really took us to school on effective Facebook leads ads. So I'm super excited for the presentation you've got going for us today. So let's just kick it off. Let's jump in and maybe have you start us off with what you're going to talk about today.
Yeah, man, let's do it. Last time we talked about building a steady pipeline of future business, and we talked about using sort of targeted Facebook ads. And so the thing that we want to talk about today is creating some better systems and processes, because I think the agents that do well or that are successful in their business now, they strike a good balance between working in their business, so managing escrows, managing clients. When March rolled around and the pandemic started, there's agents that had buyers in the pipeline, and all of a sudden they got scared and they're like, well, I don't want to go through with this purchase now. Right. So when you're busy working in your business and you're putting out fires, it's easy to forget to work on your business. And that last part, working on your business, is just as important, because that's where you create systems and processes. That's where you build sort of a better or automated nurture process. You have to have a good nurture process. Otherwise, if you're just focused on the transactions, the clients and stuff that you were nurturing, they're going to forget that you're the go-to agent, or you're going to stop being top of mind. So you're not going to get more repeat and referral business from those past clients, right? So you always have to have a good nurturing game plan. And then when it comes to making business decisions and marketing decisions, this is stuff that should come quickly, not stuff that you should, at the end of the year when you're making your New Year's resolutions, you think, oh, dang, that CRM that I promised myself I would set up and those drip campaigns that Ricardo told me about, I totally forgot about them, or I got busy and I never got to it. So the challenge that I kind of want you guys to tackle today, or the challenge that we're going to tackle together, is how do I put those systems and processes together? Because it's not all that difficult. It's just something that sometimes we table to the side and we forget to get to it because a hot prospect takes up 2 hours of our time, and those were the 2 hours we had dedicated.
Right.
So,
If you don't mind, Ricardo,
yeah.
a lot of what we push agents to do here at REDX and what we encourage agents to do is two things. One, if you don't have what you're talking about, this recurring business, maybe past clients, even new clients, it's all about the grind, right? Prospecting, making these phone calls.
Yep.
But you can make as many phone calls and sell as many homes as you want from prospecting, but if you don't stay in touch with those relationships, if you let those fall apart and you don't nurture those long term, then you're not going to have that long term sustainable business that a lot of real estate agents aim for, right? I mean, if you can graduate, we like to call it graduating from the grind. If you can graduate from the grind, this is speaking to just that, which is, make sure that you keep track of all those clients so you don't put that extra time and energy back into it.
That's exactly well said. Because otherwise you're stuck in this sort of transactional business where you're going month by month, day by day, week by week, and you're just fishing for that next transaction.
Yeah. And
instead of, like you said, putting in the work, building systems, graduating from the grind, and having this sort of predictable business model.
Nice.
So the thing the stat that I kind of want to start you guys off with is sort of this stat here. And it's the fact that it takes 7 to 8 times more money, energy, and time to try to capture new leads than it does to generate business or referrals from your existing clients. So when I meet with agents, and I average, 40 to 60 one-on-one appointments every month, which is pretty wild to think about. But every time I meet with an agent, I ask them, I don't think real estate is one size fits all. So instead of me, touting a bunch of products at you, why don't you tell me a little bit about your business? And when they start to tell me, hey, I've been in the business for 6 years, 10 years, I say, great, let's take a look at that database. It's wild. Most people are using this as their database. They're using their phone as their database. Right. And it's like, I get it. It's because most CRM systems, or a lot of CRM systems, they're hard. They're complicated. There's this, every CRM seems to speak a different language to communicate the same thing. And so there's this big learning curve with organizing your database, getting it uploaded, and it just sounds tedious, right? Right. So one of the things that I like to say, or that I like to do to start, is, download your contacts from your phone and start to segment or organize that database. So there's a great app that's available in the App Store. It's called MC Backup. So just search it in the App Store. Again, it's just MC Backup. It'll allow you to export or download your contacts as a CSV file that you can then turn around and upload to LionDesk, to Follow Up Boss, or whatever CRM system you're using.
And is that pretty user-friendly with whether it's Google Contacts, Apple Contacts?
Super user-friendly, and yes, you'll be able to download it irrespective of whatever store you're in. Nice. Sometimes, like, what you don't want is, if you're using on an iPhone, for example, it'll give you that VCF file, and it's the contact card. You don't want that. You want the CSV file. Sure. So once you download your contacts, for me, one of the things that is low-hanging fruit for people that tell me, hey, I've been at this game for a while, I've been in the business for 4 years, 6 years, whatever. It's okay. Let's do a 2-3 part process here. Let's download your contacts. Let's segment them, and then let's fire them up into LionDesk. And here's a simple text message that we're going to send them to try to get more CMA requests, or to try to get more seller leads, right? Sure. And the text message, this is automated. It's a drip campaign. We just loaded into LionDesk. And it just says, hey, Ricardo, or hey, Andrew, the real estate market is super crazy right now. And I'm giving all of my clients their updated home value. Do you want me to send you a custom home value update too? And you'll get some people that say, no, take me off your list, or what the hell, sure. Whatever. They'll say those sorts of things. But for the ones that respond in the positive, like, yeah, sure, or yeah, please, then it's just a follow-up. It's what's a good email for you, and what's your current address?
Absolutely. And I love that you're texting your database, because it's very important for agents to know cold texting is not a great idea. Cold texting leads, cold texting people you don't have permission to text is not a great idea. But if they're in your database, you've already done work with them. You've already communicated with them. They've already given you that thumbs up to send them these texts, right?
Yeah. It's the difference between, prospecting or reaching out to a cold lead versus a warm lead. Right. Hopefully these are a little bit warmer. But yeah, the idea is that you have some sort of relationship with them.
Well, and even if they've gotten cold, you've worked with them in the past and you've communicated in the
Yep,
past, and that's what matters. I love it.
exactly. And so then the next thing is, okay, we've downloaded our database. The next thing is you want to try to start to segment. And by segment, I just mean, organize that database by, who this person is. So you might separate them by friends and family, by neighbors, former coworkers, church members, gym buddies, whatever, because you're going to talk to different people in your database differently than you talk to your friends or family versus someone you met at church.
Absolutely.
Right? You don't want to engage in the same, like I think oftentimes it's easy to say or send the same broadcast message to everybody. You're going to be a lot more effective and get a much higher level of engagement and open rate if you take the time to segment that database. That way you're only reaching or a specific subset of that sort of audience.
Right.
And so I forget where I got this quote from, but it was, the fact is if you try to appeal to everyone, you'll appeal to no one. So segmenting is really going to help you create those targeted offers or messages that convert. So if you have
that quote is awesome, Ricardo. Sorry to interrupt, but I love that because to your point, the last slide, that list you had, let's say you are wanting to text all of your aunts and uncles, asking them, following up, talking about the home you sold or you helped them sell, and or grandma, right? Let's say you're texting grandma and you accidentally say, "Hey, bro, looking swole today at the gym. Let's go," and the wrong message to the wrong person.
That's
super disingenuous. So segmentation, I love it.
It's just going to ensure that, again, you're sending the right. It's going to ensure that you're getting a higher engagement rate and a higher click rate on the stuff that you do send out.
I love it. Personalization too.
Yep. Awesome. So simply, just think of segments as folders. And then when you start tagging people in your database, it's okay to tag them multiple things. And so for those of you that I say Lion Desk a lot because Lion Desk is a member benefit for me here in CRMLS. So I'm a big proponent of using the tools and resources that are either already being provided to you for free through your brokerage or through your MLS. Start there. Don't go down the feature trap of, what's the best CRM? Because then if you go down that route, what happens is you're going to experience decision fatigue as you're fishing for which one has the best features. Every CRM will always have one sort of subset of features that's different than the next, than the next, than the next. The important part is just organize your database, upload it, tag them, and then that's it. Worry about features and all of that later. You need to get in the habit. You need to get in the habit.
Your preferred one is Lion Desk. Sorry.
Yeah, because again, for me in CRMLS, it's member benefit. And CRMs like Follow Up Boss are great too. And if you're looking for an all-in-one, then Chime has a website provider with a great built-in CRM. But again, don't worry about the technology. Worry more about building the habit of regularly logging your activity, regularly updating your database, because it's that habit and developing that habit over time that's going to make you more successful. It's not the features of the CRM that are going to do the work for you and make you successful.
Excellent.
So what I would do is, there's going to be a lot, tag people where you met them. So is this a buyer lead? Did you meet, where were they searching? Were they searching in Costa Mesa? And then what was their price range? That way, when you go back and let's say you have a new listing coming up, that's a 3-bed, 3-bath, 2-story house in Costa Mesa for 1.2 million. You can then comb your database and segment and say, well, let me see who was searching in Costa Mesa in this price range and, who's an active buyer. Because then you can send that message to them, a targeted message promoting your new listing directly to them. And then the next thing is, okay, well, you've uploaded your database, you've started to segment and sort of tag and categorize the prospects that are in there. Now we get to, the part about building a strategy or the step of building a strategy. And so this is where I would tackle it in 2 parts.
Okay.
The first part is the low-hanging fruit. Your past client database is low-hanging fruit. So what I want you guys to do is think about and develop an annual contact strategy to be able to reach those past clients so that you're staying top of mind and you're getting more repeat and referral business. Because I think I might have said this before in our last call, but getting a referral from a past client is like a layup, right?
Yes.
That should be an automatic slam dunk. There's not a lot of selling that should go into that process.
Right.
Whereas generating leads online, that's going to take a lot more work, time, effort, and energy, because you got to essentially, it's your job to convert strangers into clients, and that takes a lot more effort, right?
Absolutely.
So we'll talk about, building that pipeline of future business. We definitely covered it in that last episode, but let's get started with that past client strategy. And so here's the stat that I kind of want to lead with, and I want you to think about. 80% of homeowners say that they would work with their agent again, and yet only 11% actually do.
Wow.
That's a stat that I got from NAR. Mm-hmm. Think about that for a second. 80% say they'll work with their agent again, but only 11% actually do. There's obviously a disconnect between what we think we're providing and sort of the customer experience that we think we're providing. And so here's kind of where I want you to think or rethink your past client strategy. Brian Chesky, who's the CEO of Airbnb, this is where I got this exercise from him. And so it's a little exercise called the 11-star review. It sounds completely ridiculous, right? Because we're all familiar with 5 stars. Yep. But it's the fact that we live in this sort of 5-star review culture. Yeah. Back when we used to go to conferences and we were looking for a good restaurant to go to or a good bar to go to, what do? We Yelp local restaurants. We look for a place that has, a lot of 4 and 5-star reviews. Mm-hmm. If we stumble across one that has 2 stars, what do? We skip it and we move on to the next.
Yep.
Real estate is effectively kind of the same thing. Like, there's still social signals or social proof that consumers look for. Right. When they go to your website, does it look professional? When they go and look at your Zillow agent profile, do you have a lot of 5-star reviews from past clients? When they Google you, does your Google My Business come up? So this exercise, here's what it's designed to do. You should sit down and do this with your team, or you can sit down and do this by yourself and, maybe do a Zoom so you're kind of workshopping through it together. But the exercise works like this. Describe what a horrible, 1-star review process looks like in your business. So a consumer probably goes to your website, they try to find your contact information, can't find it because you decided to hide your phone number and bury your email, somewhere not to be found. And so when they submit an inquiry, they don't hear from you for 2 days, right? Then describe what a 5-star review process looks like in your business. Well, someone goes to your website, they favorite a few listings, they submit an inquiry, you follow up with them in a timely manner, you respond within the hour, and you run them through the transaction from start to finish, and then when it's done, it's done. You move on to the next client. It was a great experience, but nothing really happened thereafter. Right. And so then keep going and describing what a 8-star experience looks like, what a 9-star experience looks like. Keep going until you get to that 11 stars, that coveted 11 stars. What does that ridiculous process look like? And as you move up further and further along to 11 stars, you start to really uncover that, hey, some of that stuff that seems a little ridiculous isn't all that unattainable. I can actually deliver a better experience by implementing these things. And so here's what I mean by that. There's a couple of companies and products that I really like. So one of them, for example, when you close a transaction, one of the things that we advise our clients to do is, hey, once you've closed a transaction with somebody, put them in the Homebot. Homebot will automatically deliver an automated home value update to your customers month after month after month after month, so that they can keep a pulse on basically what's going on with their home. They can keep a pulse to their change in equity. Homebot will even tell them breakdown of their equity. So here's how much you've paid in interest on your loan so far. Here's how much you've paid in interest. Here's how much money you would save if you made additional payments of $150, $200, or $300 every month. You'd save $35,000 and pay your loan off 5 years faster.
Wow.
And then it even gives them tailored scenarios. So if you bought another house, Andrew, how much house could you afford based on today's current equity and today's current interest rates? You can afford to purchase a new home and trade up and buy a new home worth $1.1 million. You can buy an investment property worth 846, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So
what's this called again?
This is called Homebot.
Homebot. Gotcha.
So it's a way to kind of automate the follow-up process and stay top of mind with that homeowner that you just closed a transaction with. And if you want to expand on that, another great company is called Client Giant. So Client Giant is we met them a while ago. They're a little expensive for every transaction, but I'll give you an example. I work in Newport Beach, where part of my territory covers Newport Beach.
Okay.
So you can imagine the average sales price in Newport Beach is, $2, $3, $4 million homes. So if I tell you that Client Giant costs $2,000 per transaction, you're going to say that's pretty expensive. But my agents in Newport are going to say, yeah, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But what Client Giant does is you purchase it on a per sort of transaction basis. And they've redesigned their website, so I can't really see it here. But what it does is it sends these sort of gifts once a transaction goes into escrow. So if you look here, once a transaction goes under contract, Client Giant sends a personal concierge, sends them an under contract gift that includes all of these things. And then they say by day 10, hey, Andrew, here's some boxes, some boxing tape, and some other moving supplies. I want you to know that I've taken care of transferring your utilities from your current residence to your new home. Here's some boxing tape and other essentials that you're going to need. Your transactions, moving along just fine. I'll be in touch. And then as you keep going, Client Giant sends these sort of thoughtful gifts to kind of ensure the consumer that everything's getting taken care of and things are moving along just fine. And
that's awesome. And to me, that's taking that 11-star experience, and turning it into a 12, 13, 14, 15-star experience. This is really going to stick in your clients' minds for the rest of their life, for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. So we had an agent who was following up with the consumer, at every point throughout the process. At the end, signed them up for Client Giant. Client Giant, it said, what do you want, Andrew? Do you want a housekeeper for the day, maintenance guy for the day? Do you want to get your car detailed? So, they chose the car detail, of course. And then when the transaction closed, it says, well, here's a celebratory dinner for two. Hey, Andrew, thank you so much for confiding in me. We really appreciate your business. I wanted to send you a little welcome gift and, celebratory dinner for two. A car will come pick you up, take you to a restaurant of your choice. It's on me. Enjoy and congratulations to your new home.
Yeah, those are some amazing tools, and to me, like you said, it's that 11-star experience that will bring you referral business because you're going to remember that client that got you the dinner,
correct,
got you the car detailing. I love it.
And so I'm not saying you have to, go all out and invest in, something like that. There's other services out there. A great one is AvaBot. It's avabot.ai. And they have a bunch of stuff in here, closing gifts, birthday gifts, anniversary gifts. And if you go in here, these start at $25. But, think about what it is that you're providing to, again, create that sort of 11-star experience.
Right. And like you said, it's sorry, let me adjust your screen here a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that 11-star experience, that it's an investment. That's what I was going for. It is an investment, especially things like Client Giant. You're gonna take some of your, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 commission, put it, a few $100s from that could mean tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of commission down the road. So if you can afford it, and I'm glad that you gave us a range of affordable options from stuff like Homebot to AvaBot to Client Giant, so that agents can kind of choose, well, hey, $25 off of that commission, whatever it is, isn't that much, or maybe a couple $100s is doable, and that investment is going to be worth tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands in the future. I love that.
That's right. So when you're setting up your CRM and you're setting up, your to-dos, all of this should be automated. So when you have somebody that, goes from a prospect in your CRM to under contract, it should trigger that to-do to reach out to them and send them, your under contract gift or your under contract follow-up process. Once you change that prospect in your database from under contract to closed, that should trigger an email that goes out and asks them for a testimonial. But then you should also add them to your post close follow-up drip campaign, where for the next year, they're getting a series of automated text messages from you. I'm not saying that everything should be automated. Like automation, I don't want to paint automation as bad.
Sure.
If you do it right, that automation still comes out and comes across as personalized.
With those tags that you described earlier.
Correct.
Right? If you create the right tags and you create enough tags, then the texts, these automated texts, can seem personal enough.
Correct. So, you close somebody in January. In March, it should say, hey, Andrew, can you believe it's been 3 months since you've been in your new home? How's it going? And then in June, another 3 months. Hey, happy Monday, Andrew. Been a while since we last chatted. Do you need any help around the house? I have a VIP list of vendors and handymen to help around the house if you need it. Just hit me up and let me know. And then another 3 months from that. Hey, Andrew, hope you're having a great day. Just doing my regular check-in. How are things going? Anything I can do to help you and your friends? You're subtly nudging that, hey, anything I can help you, or is there anyone else who's thinking about or selling that I might be able to help too? And then, at that 1 year mark, that 1 year anniversary, happy 1 year anniversary, Andrew. How have things been going? Let me know if you or your friends would like a current home value report.
Right. Well, I want to take a minute here, Ricardo, and just contrast this to my home buying experience. I bought a home about 2 years ago, and the agent I bought it with was really friendly, really, really cooperative. They let us pick a lot of the amenities in our home. They let us pick, different things and designs, and we thought that was awesome, right? And they hooked us up. We bought a great home. We love it. And then, they said, well, I've got all these connections. I've got a bunch of, if you need this, if you need that, we'll hook it up. And I said, okay, cool. Yeah, well, I'll be in touch. I'll save your number. I haven't received a single text or follow-up from them in the last 2.5 years. And even worse than that is my next door neighbor, who also sold with them, had a really bad experience. So do you think I'm going to send my girlfriend who's looking to buying a home in the next year to that person? Absolutely not, right? Not only was there, bad experiences from some of my friends and neighbors, but there was just no follow-up, no coordination, no, communication down the road.
And, I'm not saying that you have to be selling on every follow-up.
Right.
You don't. Not every follow-up needs to be a sales call. Right. Sometimes it could just be checking in, having genuine interest in their life, how's it going, and all of that sort of thing. I have a title rep who follows up authentically and almost religiously with all of his prospects. And he said to me once, because I asked him, hey, you're so organized and meticulous about how you follow up. Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah. So after every appointment, he sends a custom handwritten thank you card. And in the thank you card, he reiterates something that you might have said during the meeting to show that he was paying attention. Right. First of all, who sends thank you cards anymore? I promise you, if you start sending thank you cards to people, that's going to stand out because nobody really does it anymore. It's a gift that people stop doing. But then the other thing that he does is, he follows them on social, not to stalk them, but to give them encouragement. Like if they post something about their kids, if they post something about an award that they got, whatever. He says, it's my goal with all of my people in my database. It's my goal to be their friend. And I know there's this fine line between, being friends with your customers versus not. But he says the impression that I want to give is that when I pick up the phone and call them, I want them to see me on, what is it called? I want them to see my name pop up, and I don't want them to be scared and think, oh God, it's that title rep calling me again. Right. I want them to feel, oh, it's Andrew. Let me pick up the phone right now.
Right. And contrasting that to my experience that I just shared is it took 3 months for my agent's reputation in my mind to go from 9-10 stars down to 1 because there was nothing. And in addition to that, there was even negative feedback. And so, it went from, yeah, I'll send everyone I know your way. I'm excited. I'm going to tell all my friends to don't go to these guys. They're not good. That's all it takes.
No, that's absolutely right. So, okay. you've taken care of, or you're sitting down past client experience, and you're sort of developing this new process. Okay,
Sure.
that's one item done and dusted. What's the next thing? The next thing is, growing your database.
Yes.
So we talked about this at length in our last webinar or podcast, if you remember. We talked about how to use pay-per-click and Facebook ads as a way to sort of grow a pipeline of future business. So I won't get too much into it now, but here's what I want to show you. Mm-hmm. In the last rolling 12 months, we've generated 7,881 leads for our agents.
Wow.
That's awesome. Out of all of those leads that we generated, 59% responded to a text or an email. And then 42%, so 1,957 were qualified and converted into an appointment. Here's what I can tell you. If you're investing in generating leads online, whether it's pay-per-click, whether it's Facebook ads, whether it's Zillow leads, anything, right? Mm-hmm. You need to think about what your lead nurture process looks like. And the agents that are doing well are following up not just more than once. They're following up, 9, 12 times over a period of time. But they also have a multi-channel sort of follow-up strategy. In other words, they're not just following up via text. They're not just following up via email. And they're not just following up by, leaving a voicemail or making a phone call. They're literally following up all three ways. So that's they're engaging in what you would call a triple threat strategy of following up by text, email, phone, text, email, phone, text, email, phone.
Right.
So that's what you need to implement in your business. You need to implement a more effective triple threat strategy so that you are following up with those leads. That way you increase the level of engagement, and so that you effectively bring up your level of appointments or your number of appointments. So when we get a new lead, when we generate a new lead off of, let's say, Facebook ads, we put them on an immediate 7-day drip campaign. And that 7-day drip campaign includes, 4 or 5 contact attempts. The first one is, here are the details for 123 Main Street. Hey, Ricardo, or hey, Andrew, my name's Ricardo. I'm the realtor that's listing 123 Main Street. Really is a great home, but great for one person isn't great for every person. Would you like me to send you a list of homes similar to 123 Main Street?
Nice.
Then I follow up via text. Hey, Andrew, it's Ricardo. Just sent you an email with all of my contact information and the details for 123 Main Street. Let me know what's most effective for you, phone, call, or text.
Yes.
Right? And because I'm putting it on them, people want to be reached the way they want to be reached. Some people, if they don't respond, it doesn't mean they're not interested. It could very well mean they work a 9 to 5. They can't be interrupted while they're at work. So call me at 6:15 when I'm off of work. Right?
Yeah.
And then the last email in our series says not yet, ? Hey, Andrew, I'll take your not responding as a sort of back off signal. I totally get it. Right now may not be the right time to buy for you. But whether you're looking to buy in 2 months, 6 months, or 2 years, I want you to know that my team and I are here to help. In the meantime, I'm going to set you up with the Homebot Monthly Market Digest. It'll help you follow up. It'll help you explore the market based on what's most important to you, yada, yada, yada. Right?
Yes. I love those scripts, Ricardo, because a thing that we hear from agents all the time is, how do I follow up? How do I engage my database without having what we call commission breath or sales breath, right? How do I come across as genuine, and how do I provide legitimate value without making, without coming across as skeezy or salesy?
Persistent, not pestering.
Exactly. Yes. And the scripts that you just provided, I want people to make a note of those and go back and re-listen to them. Those scripts are incredible. I love that.
And so if they don't engage within that window, it doesn't mean that they're not interested. Here's what I always tell people. Buyers or sellers are going to be ready to buy when they're ready to buy, not when we want them to be ready to buy. Right?
Right.
This is why it's important to put them on a long-term nurture and make sure that you're following up 9, 12, 16 times over the long term, because the nature of online leads is that their window for buying is anywhere from 3 to 18 months. They're early entry buyers. Facebook is more early entry than, let's say, Google leads. So after that 7-day drip campaign, if they don't convert, no problem. 3 months later, we send them another 3-part text drip campaign that says, hey, Andrew, a while back you contacted me about buying a home, ... text message number 1. And then text message number 2, are you still thinking of buying in Costa Mesa, ? And then text message number 3, I'm sure you've been on tons of sites since then. So here's a link to my Zillow agent profile. I really do pride myself on giving 5-star service for all of my clients. Right? It's just a 3-part text strip that you're going to throw out 3 months after they converted, just to see who's still sitting on the sidelines and who's ready and looking at homes. And then if they don't convert, then that's okay. We wait another 6 months and we put them on what we call a re-engagement campaign. And so that one is subject line, regarding your home search. Hey, Andrew, it's been a while since you contacted me about buying a home. The market has changed and so have interest rates. So I wanted to reach out and give you an update on the changes and best options for buyers. When's a good time for us to chat? ? And then follow up via text, follow up again via email, follow up again and again and again.
Yes.
And so now you have this automated but still personalized lead nurture strategy that is touching them every month, or not every month, but every quarter throughout the year.
Right. And along the way, they always have the option to opt out, but they also always have this option to text you back or just ignore you. And then when they need you, they can reach out. And that's what I love about this.
Exactly. So I want to share a script with you guys because I said I would have some stuff for you if you're not, buying online leads. So this is a script that you can use right now if you want to try to generate new listings. And all it takes is reaching out to your existing database or to your friends on Facebook or Instagram. So if you log into Facebook, if on the lower right-hand side, I don't know if you'll see your that you're logged into chat or Messenger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you just click on that icon, it'll expand. So what I have on my screen here on the upper right-hand side, these are my contacts that are currently logged into Facebook. So here's what I want you to do. Go to Facebook, open Messenger, look at who your top 20 are, contacts that are currently logged into Facebook. Mm-hmm. Don't reach out to your realtor friends, but reach out to, other friends, family, etc. And what you could say is something like this. Hey, Andrew, hope you're doing well. The pandemic plus the election both impacted the real estate market. So I'm spending some time today creating custom CMAs for a few of my favorite people just like you. Mm-hmm. This is a detailed multi-page report that will show you what your home is worth and what other homes near yours have sold for. Normally, I only do these if someone is selling their home, but I decided that getting a report like this would be valuable even if you aren't. Want one for your home? ? And that's it. Right?
Incredible. Yes, this is amazing because I can think of multiple ways they might use this. This might be, I want to sell my home. I, find out how much it's worth, maybe sell, maybe cash out on my equity, but it could also be used for, say, a refinance, right?
Yep,
let's find out how much it's worth. Let me refi. And then regardless, you're saving these people either way. You're either helping them find their dream home, you're helping them save a bunch of money, or you're helping them refi. And all that value is going to put you top of mind for more referrals for the next time they buy or sell. There's so many ways that this helps. I love it.
Yep, that's exactly right. So, you could approach it from that COVID angle. I know a lot of folks are struggling right now. Income and unemployment is disrupted. I just want to check in to see how you and your family are holding up.
Right.
Right. And then if they haven't done anything with their house, the key is to make it 80% personal. You're going to find your opportunity, for the other 20% business by finding out, are they moving or do they know anyone who is? Or, if you're smart, you'll ask, hey, Andrew, did you take advantage of interest rates when they dropped? The way you word that, did you take advantage of interest rates when they dropped?
Yes.
The way you word it insinuates that they're not as low as they were. Interest rates aren't as low as they were. So did you take advantage of them when they dropped? And if not, should we have that conversation? Yes.
I love that. And I love the idea of 80% personal because a lot of people, I was running some prospecting training camps early this week. And a lot of people took scripts very literally, right? They said, well, this is what's on the paper. This is what I need to regurgitate. This is what I need to recite. In this case, this is what I need to copy and paste into Facebook or over text. And I like that you said 80% personal because that gives them the freedom to kind of cater this script foundation to something a little bit more personal, something that they can then expound on or go in any number of different directions. Like you said, maybe it's, they've been impacted by COVID. Okay, let's personalize it for that. That they're looking to move. Let's personalize it for that. That maybe they, are just interested in market information. Personalize it for that. I love that.
Yep, 100%. So what I would do is, start to take a look at, I always tell my agents, you have to have multiple fishing lines out in the water. Multiple fishing lines out in the water to see which strategy is really working right now.
Mm-hmm.
What I would do if you're an agent listening to this is look at the fishing lines you currently have out in the water, and then look at your nurture strategy. Do you have a long-term nurture strategy for this campaign, for that campaign, for that campaign? What I'll do in the show notes is I'll give you, Andrew, I'll share with you and everyone else a Google Drive of all of the different drip campaigns that we use. So if you're rigorously taking notes, don't worry, you're gonna have access to those. No,
Ricardo, that is amazing. I think everyone is rigorously taking notes. I am right here, and that's going to be tremendous. Thank you.
So I'll give those to you guys, but look at your fishing lines and look at turning on those drip campaigns so that, yes, every single lead that you're generating from this source, they should be on a long-term drip campaign.
Right.
And it's just, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Now you have an automated system that is nurturing your leads, you're managing escrows, and you have that balance that we were shooting for at the beginning. You're working in your business, but by automating, you're also working on your business.
Right. And organization is important for that. And nurturing those past clients is important for that. I love that, how it all fits together. It's amazing.
Yep. And I think that's the goal. Yeah. So, I'd love to, if you guys have any questions on strategies, I think check out that last podcast on Facebook lead ads.
Okay.
That's a very good one. And yeah, man, rinse and repeat.
Awesome. Well, Ricardo, before we close up today, first off, we are getting tons of people, great information. Yes, rigorously follow up. A lot of positive feedback here. We have a couple questions that I want to address before we close here. Some of them are little tangents. Some of them kind of go back to what we were talking about before. The first one from Amanda Smith, a regular listener. Thanks, Amanda. Does Homebot disclose the sold prices?
No, Homebot doesn't disclose sale prices. So it's not an IDX in the sense that, it's displaying the price of what homes recently sold for. It is using its own sort of AVM to tell you this home is worth approximately this much. And then it displays a little disclaimer next to the price that says not verified. In other words, it's dangling a carrot because it wants the consumer to click to verify their home value. When they click to verify their home value, that's when you get an instant CMA request. And it'll say, hey, Amanda, heads up, Andrew wants to verify his home value of $852,000. You should reach out and give him a CMA.
Gotcha. No, that's very good to know. Okay, thank you. Another one from Amanda is, how do you collect reviews? She's looking for one or two good sites to get the most visibility and collect reviews and kind of build her rapport as that 11-star agent.
So I actually don't think, and I'm looking for my script. Of course, I don't have it on me as I'm going through this. I don't think you need to use a sort of fancy or expensive software to collect reviews unless you're a broker with 5 office locations.
Right.
So I forget the system that we use, but we use it because we have, over 30 office locations across the US. And we use what's called an NPS score, Net Promoter Score. I don't think you need to use a big system like that to do this stuff. You can literally just use LionDesk. So in LionDesk, I have a drip campaign that says once you update the tag to closed, because you've closed the customer, you can click Start Drip Campaign, and then you click on Request Review. Right. And that can be just a simple email that says, hey, Andrew, thank you so much for trusting me on your latest real estate transaction. As you know, my business is built on two things: referrals from clients like you and testimonials that show other people or give them insight into my process as a realtor. Can you please take a moment to leave me a quick 2-minute review? Here's how. And then I basically spoon feed them. So if you're wondering what to say, Andrew, here's a few of the things that other past clients have said about why they chose me as a realtor. And then this is important. I spoon feed them what I want them to say. Okay. I chose Andrew because he's super knowledgeable and patient about the local market. I chose him because he's super knowledgeable, or something else unique that you did during the transaction. I chose him because he's a fierce negotiator. And then the last part is, would you use Andrew again? So yes, I absolutely would use Andrew again. Thank you so much and have a great day. Now, a few people, like I had an agent, for example, a scenario where she had been in the business for 23 years. Awesome. And she's a top producer in her area. And she was, for that particular farm, she started losing listings to an agent who'd only been in the business for 2 years.
Okay.
And when we looked at, one of the potential reasons as to why, well, remember earlier I said we live in a 5-star review culture. Consumers look at stuff online. They Google us to see what sort of social signals or trust signals we're giving out into the web. My agent had 2 5-star reviews on Zillow. That brand new agent had about 16 5-star reviews on Zillow.
Right.
Who do you think the consumer was gravitating towards? So if you're playing catch up, that's not a problem. What we've done at times is like incentivize the email. So, hey, I'm playing catch up and trying to get reviews from some of my past clients, blah, 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 blah. Can you please take a moment to leave me a 5-star review? And when you're done, just reply to this email and I'll give you a $25 Amazon gift card.
Perfect.
And so that's that is an effective way to kind of go after that. And in the drip campaigns, it'll have a request review. That Google Drive that I'll share with you guys will have the review template or the email template for that.
Perfect. That is a great answer. Amanda says, thank you so much for the information. Great session. That's awesome. Well, Ricardo, we're coming to a close here, but I want to give you one last opportunity to give any final thoughts or advice that you have for our agents out here who are going to take all this information and hopefully implement it into their businesses. Any last words?
I'm a big fan of highest and best use of time. So as you kind of sit down and, look at the projects that you're kind of, as you go through your day-to-day, your week by week and things like that, if you find yourself doing a task that is taking up or annoying you, it's taking up a lot of your time, find a way to automate it or find a way to outsource it. That's what I do. And I tell my agents all day, every day, highest and best use of time. Let's build some systems to automatically follow up on your leads so that you're not chasing down the next transaction. You're nurturing them while still managing your book of business. That way you're only doing, $1,000 an hour work. You're not doing $5 an hour work. And if you still feel like this is a little bit complex or you still need a little bit more help, I told Andrew that I was launching on Monday, February 1st, but we're doing a 5-day business building challenge where we're literally going to take one of these strategies day by day by day and work on implementing them in your business. These are simple, low effort, but high impact systems or strategies that you can turn around and implement. But other than that, thank you guys so very much for lending me your ear. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys over at REDX, Andrew. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it so much, Ricardo. And just we've got people chiming in still. I could listen for another hour, they're saying. So we are definitely going to have you back. Everyone, keep an eye on the podcast. We will for sure have Ricardo back to take us to school again on whatever he's got next. This is amazing. We're going to get those that drive link from Ricardo. We'll put it in the show notes that we will have. Haley on the back end, if you could post the link to where they can find, it'll be the redx.com/podcast/Ricardo-Bueno-2, because this is the second podcast. Go check out that first podcast we did with Ricardo. Again, thank you so much for joining us and sharing so much valuable information. with our audience. Just a quick reminder to everyone that we air this REDX podcast every Thursday at 12:30 Pacific time. That's 1:30 Mountain, 3:30 Eastern. So join us next Thursday. We're going to be talking to another marketing master, Isaiah Colton, who's going to share his step-by-step process on how to generate and convert leads using the REDX products and tools. So take that and combine it with what we learned from Ricardo today, and you will be set. It's awesome. So one more thing, if you are new to the podcast and you want to catch up on past episodes, Ricardo's past episode, find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, wherever you like to listen to podcasts. Just search the REDX podcast, subscribe, and you'll be notified every time we release a new episode. Find us on Facebook. If you're a customer, go to the forum.theredx.com and find lots of help there. Again, thank you so much for joining us, Ricardo. We will see you all next Thursday.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.